Hello, this is Over and Over and Over Again, the Positive Arsenal channel, and this is the Arsenal versus West Ham pre-match warm-up show. Hello, I'm Richard. Welcome back to my channel, Over and Over and Over Again, the Positive Arsenal channel. We're live currently on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter via Periscope. And this is going to be the West Ham pre-match warm-up show. I'm joined by a very special guest. I'm going to be talking about the game, looking back on some past memories of matches between the clubs, some players that's played for both teams, all the usual kind of stuff as well. So it's going to be a good show. Wherever you're watching it, please give it a like first of all, and come over to YouTube and give the channel a subscribe as well. It is free of charge. It just helps the channel to reach a larger audience. That's all. I don't know whether or not any of you guys watched the women's game last night that I did. A really good game, good victory for Arsenal actually. But now we're moving into the more important stuff. Maybe some people would say the men's game, obviously tomorrow afternoon. Big game it is for the top six positions really. Arsenal playing catch up a little bit, and obviously West Ham at the moment are currently sitting in one of those top six positions. So it's a big game for both clubs as we move into the business end of the season. So I say joining me tonight, so I've got a West Ham fan. We actually go back a really long way. We went to school together a very long time ago. So it's my pleasure to welcome onto the stream Steve. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, great, Richard. Yeah, no, it's great to be on your show. You know, as I've been watching the show on and off, and it's, as I said, it's the real professional show that you've got, and it's just great to be on. Just great to talk to you again after all these years.
No, exactly. It's been a long time, hasn't it? I mean, I don't think we've really even spoken, have we, since school days, probably? I mean, I know I've moved away now and, you know, we've had our own lives to lead and stuff like that. But it is good to catch up with you again, and great to see that you're doing well and that you're keeping safe, which is the main thing with everything that's been going on over recent times. I mean, just before we kind of get on with the show, really, just maybe introduce yourself to the audience, really. You know how you came to support West Ham and your kind of history of all that as well.
Yeah, I'll go back a long time now, I suppose you can say. My dad took me in, first match I went to was March 79. I can remember that really well. And great match I went to West Ham v Brighton at home. And it was what a match it was. It was a 0-0 draw. So I didn't see many goals. Bit of a disappointment, but, you know, it was great, you know. And I went to see my favourite player was Trevor Brooking at the time, you know, so great. Yeah. Trevor Brooking, go there, goals, and no Trevor Brooking. He was ill. He had flu. So that was another thing that went wrong. But no, it was great, you know. And I've supported them ever since. I was a season ticket holder for 12 years. I followed them abroad once. I went to Cremonese, Anglo-Italian Cup. You know, it's been a sort of long association, but you know, whatever team you support, you support them, and that is your team, you know. And yeah, it's been a long time, but yeah, I'm still up and down. We've been down, we've been up, but it's like any other team, isn't it? But I mean, some teams have been farther up than going down. But I've just carried on. That's my love, and that's my team. I'd never support anyone else, you know.
No, exactly. I mean, that's what it's all about, isn't it? I mean, obviously, you know, where we're from, I think you're still living down there, aren't you? It's a big West Ham area, isn't it? I mean, most people was at school. They were all West Ham fans, weren't they? Most of them were. A few Liverpool fans thrown in as well because they were obviously the top club at the time. But it was a lot of West Ham. So I kind of somehow managed to drift away and ended up with Arsenal, which maybe hasn't done me too bad over the years, if I'm honest. Some great memories that I've got. But yeah, I mean, obviously grew up with a lot of West Ham fans. My sister was a West Ham fan as well. Funny enough, my first ever match was at West Ham. It was against Birmingham in 1980. I went with my sister, which was quite interesting. That was in the second division. at that time. It was just a few weeks before the 1980 FA Cup final, of course, when West Ham played Arsenal. So the West Ham fans were in quite a happy mood at that particular time, and of course, even happier a couple of weeks later when when you won 1-0. And of course, it was Trevor Brooking that scored, wasn't it? That goal that day as well.
I think Trevor Brooking goals lasted for so many years. We keep looking back at it. You know, there's not been much more to look back at, but you know, it's great. It's all in the past, but you know. It's all good, isn't it? It's all good.
No, it is, yeah. And I mean, in terms of sort of more kind of up to date, really, I mean, you know, West Ham have had a brilliant season up to date, have they? I mean, has it gone slightly better than you was anticipating maybe back at the start?
To be honest with you, I think it has gone a lot better than I thought. I think now that I think the squad's a bit too short at the moment, you know. Considering how short the squad is and with injuries, you know, we're really down to the bare knuckles that we've even got 2 substitute goalkeepers, you know. I mean, you know, 2 substitute goalkeepers, that really does say it, you know. But I think that they should have got another striker at least. I think that. But I'm happy with where they are. But as in squad-wise, I think it's a little bit too thin, you know. They need more plus.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the loan signing of Jesse Lingard's done well, hasn't it? That's been a good signing for you, hasn't it? He's done really well, hasn't he? He looks back to his best, actually, doesn't he? In the last few games, he certainly played for you guys.
Yeah, he's done really well. You know, I always look back on the last match at Upton Park when he was on the bus and he done the done that video, and I thought, oh no, what we got ever? No, he's proved really good, to be honest with you. I think he's enjoying it there, and I think his football's come on leaps and bounds, you know. And as with the England call up, you know, I think it does show that, you know, it has been a good move, and maybe in the summer he might sign permanently, you know.
Yeah, well, you never know. I mean, obviously he wasn't getting much games at Man United, was he? So I'm sure he'll be delighted to move and obviously to play regular football. And he's certainly been adding something a little bit extra. Like you said, I think maybe your squad was struggling a little bit, and bringing him in January, I think, was a great move, actually. Obviously, David Moyes knew him from his Man United days as well. So I guess it was an easy move to make, wasn't it? And it's working out well at the moment. I mean, I've got to be honest, I'm quite surprised at how high West Ham are in the league, actually, how well they've been playing. Because, I mean, I've watched quite a few games, certainly recently, and it's good football as well that you're playing. It's not, you know, it's not negative football. You're attacking, you're scoring goals, and you're not conceding many. It's a good all-round kind of team effort, isn't it? Maybe you haven't got a goal scorer as such, but it's a team effort, isn't it, from West Ham?
Yeah, I think team effort, I think that's a good thing. If your teams are working together, you're all on the same level, you're pulling together as one. I think it's a good thing. You know, if you're all like separate, I know everybody's got separate ways they play at that, but working as a team, you will get somewhere. You know, it's obviously a good thing. But I said, just keep my fingers crossed. We keep going. We don't get no injuries. I think that is the key. You know, the worry. You know, at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, David Moyes obviously had a similar kind of success with Everton, didn't he? A number of seasons, Everton finished in the top 5, top 6, top 4, even I think once as well under David Moyes. So he's got a good record at achieving that now, isn't he? I mean, I know obviously you said your squad's a bit thin, but do you think that you've got a good chance of maybe getting in, even in the top 4? That's possible, isn't it? Where you are in the moment.
Yeah. I mean that would be fantastic. You know, there's a few hard matches as when we play you as well to come, but. You know, if they keep going, and as I said, injury-free, you never know, do you? At the end of the day, anything can happen. It's been an unusual season for a lot of teams, really. You know, so anything can basically happen. So just keep my fingers crossed that we keep going. You know, and maybe in the summer we might get another striker, maybe. But
well, I mean, I suppose if you're in the Champions League, you'll have a bit more money, maybe. I know a lot of clubs obviously lost a lot of money over the last year or so, but maybe being in the Champions League might be, you know, give the owners a little bit more incentive to spend a little bit more on the team. And you never know, that might be, even if you're in the Europa League, I guess there's still money to be made there, isn't there, for the club as well. So, but even that's not going to be easy. Like you said, it's very congested, isn't it? I mean, we're in 10th place, and I still fancy our chances of getting top 6 at the moment. Maybe not top 4, but I think top 6 will be within, especially if we can win tomorrow, because I mean that's going to close the gap on you guys to 4 points. But I mean, I did a video earlier on today about the good form that West Ham have been showing at home. I think you've only lost one of your last 9 at home, haven't you?
Yeah, it's a bit of a shock, but yeah, it's like its consistency has sort of settled us. But you know, if I just, as I said, it's just the injury things I do worry about it. But we are doing okay. I'm quite surprised. As I said, we could be getting nosebleeders at this point. Going up and keep going. It's as I said, it's just got to keep going. And if they play the way they are and just keep, the confidence here and the team spirit, and obviously, the connection, I think, it's just they're doing their best. So I'm happy with it anyway.
I mean, it could be, couldn't it, your highest ever Premier League finish, the way things are going?
It could be. It throws back to the good days of the 80s, when we done quite well. We didn't quite make it to the top, but we done really well with the McAvenny and the Cotter years, But it would be great to see them do, just keep it up for once. But time will tell.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, we're into the kind of last sort of 10, 11 games, aren't we? And this is the time where, like you said, maybe the squad can catch up with you. But if you avoid injuries, you've got a lot of very good players that are in good form. And I think that at this time in the season, sometimes that's what you need. We've got a couple of comments in the chat. Joe, it's going to be a tough match. Yes, it is. It's good to see old friends doing something different. Yeah, that's good. And he says about Lingard, there's got something to prove in England's squad with the likes of Grealish, Foden, Mount, and a couple more in front of him. He says he doesn't mind West Ham. He's got no hatred for them. Well, that's good. I don't hate West Ham either. I've got to be honest. I say growing up where I did, and obviously you know what it's like. It's a big West Ham area, so you can't really. I've always had a bit of a soft spot for West Ham, if I'm totally honest. Anyway, so but yeah, I think Lingard has got a lot to prove for England, hasn't he? Because a lot of younger players now have come in and are doing really well. So it'd be interesting to see how that works out. I'm maybe a little bit surprised he's got called up so soon. He's only played, 4 or 5 good games for West Ham, and he's suddenly straight back in the squad, isn't he? And there's some other players who have been playing well for a year and don't get much of a look in, so I'm not really sure. But I know Southgate's got his favourites, hasn't he? What do you make of the sort of the England setup at the moment? Obviously, with an international break coming up soon as well.
I tend to find sometimes the England matches, I tend to start watching and I end up turning them, and that's not very good. I end up turning them off because I find sometimes the football's just a little bit slow, a little bit boring. It will be with international football because you're playing an international team, they play a different type of football. You're trying to, approach them and it's like a tactical game. But I just tend to find it's just a little bit, I remember watching as a kid and used to England, I was England mad, but I tend to find it's just not got that, I don't know what it is, but I just haven't got that enthusiasm that I used to have. The last time I went a few years ago, England played Brazil. What match that was? Another 0-0 draw. I must have a bad luck, I'd say, yeah. But that was a little bit, but it's great. But it's just, I don't know, it just seems a little bit slow,
Yeah, no, it's changed. I used to watch England quite a lot. I used to go to Wembley and watch them and stuff. It used to be good. But yeah, I agree. I've lost enthusiasm for international football over the last probably 10 years, maybe. Slowly, it's been getting less and less. Even the tournaments are not interesting me as much as they used to, perhaps as well, which is a shame because, I can see that there's there is a need for international football. It just seems to have, maybe because of the Premier League and the Champions League and all that kind of stuff, taken over, hasn't it? Maybe people feel that's more important. And the other thing I wanted to ask you about, Steve, was obviously like us, you guys have obviously got a new stadium over the recent years. What have you made? Obviously, I used to love Upton Park. I thought it was fantastic and always a great atmosphere. You must miss that, mustn't you?
Oh, definitely. Because you've got the histories there, like, as I said, with Highbury, your history, and then you suddenly got this sort of stadium. A lot of stadiums all look alike, don't they? They're all sort of ovals sort of shape. Yeah. And you think, well, but as I said, it's the history and then it's the moving on. You're stuck between the two, it's a catch-22. You've got to move on because of the size of the ground. We couldn't go any bigger Upton Park. There was no way to go outwards, and you couldn't go upwards. It just couldn't do any further, But it's a shame. But not having the ground. If we could have built on where the ground was, but then again, you couldn't because of the space, So it's a shame, It really is a shame. And I watch, the old matches and that, and it. It brings back memories, and like with your club with Highbury, and you just sort of, it's sad. It is sad. It's very sad. But this is what modern tech. Everything's moving forward, and I'm afraid that's where it's got to go. But at the end of the day, I think we've had a few problems. But now, because the fans haven't been able to go to the matches, it may have. I don't know. It might have been a good thing because they haven't had the pressure there. You know what I mean? But they've had some good performances here, and I think maybe now they might have settled more into playing there. So yeah, it's just you just got to go on. It's, as I said, it's a shame we couldn't have. They're built like apartments where Upton Park was, and I've been there a few weeks back, and it's just it's that history bit's gone. I suppose you just got to look back on your memories. Your memories will always be there, even though you've moved on.
No, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I still miss Highbury now. It's that was for me. That's what Arsenal meant. Because when I first started going, and that was just what it was. I had a season ticket there for years, and it's not the same now. But yeah, I guess like you said, it's just progress, isn't it? And it's just unfortunately, certainly with a club like Arsenal, if we didn't move to a bigger stadium, we wouldn't have been able to advance forward as a club just because of the size. And we couldn't expand Highbury either because there were listed buildings, there was houses behind the stands and all that kind of similar to Upton Park, actually, in the middle of the load of houses. And it's difficult, isn't it, to make it any bigger. And I guess it's just a shame that it couldn't have been. Couldn't have stayed where we were, I guess. But yeah, it's just, I think the atmosphere, I mean, what's the atmosphere like at the new? Obviously at the moment no fans, but when the fans have been in, what's the atmosphere been like? Has it been a lot different? Because it used to be amazing, didn't it, Upton Park?
True, yeah. Now I think it's because of the size. Obviously you haven't got that where you're closed in more and it's a lot smaller. You've got that that power, it's like you're spread out. Obviously it's more people, but I know it's strange. I mean, I'm not a season ticket holder no more than anything, but I go to the odd matches, probably the cup matches, that you can go, and it's just, I don't know, it's just it has lost that oomph, you know what I mean, that power that was there when it was Upton Park. I don't know, I just can't explain it. I don't know whether you've had the same, Highbury transferring to where you are now, your ground, but if you've had that same sort of thing, you just lose that power. I don't know, it's just we've lost it definitely because of the smaller ground and the enclosed and being much closer to the pitch. Obviously they're closing that running track at the London Stadium more, trying to get more nearer, but I think you need, with where it was, I mean, it's practically in touching distance of the players, and you're not going to get that again. So it is what it is, so you just got to carry on, and hopefully we've got confidence now. We've won a few games at home, and just keep that going, and that confidence will build on from that.
Yeah. I mean, Shane's put a comment there for you. He said, Steve, do you think you'll be doing so well if fans are attending games? And he said it's mad how two good signings can transform a team. I mean, we've kind of touched on that there. I think for some clubs, I think having no fans has helped. And I think for other clubs, having no fans has not helped, such as Liverpool is probably a big example of that. I mean, how do you feel for West Ham? Do you feel as though having no fans, I mean, has the atmosphere been a little bit kind of negative in the stadium, or do you feel that that's maybe helped not having them there?
I think it's as if, because there've not been no fans, I think it may have given more confidence because there's no one. If anything goes wrong, but they haven't played too bad actually. But if anything does go wrong, there's no one to be straight on their backs. You've got that, that kind of, no backlash kind of thing as you're playing. So it's been good. And as I said, I think with them wins, even though there's been nobody, I think that will build confidence anyway. So when fans do come back, they've got that confidence beneath them, so they can just carry it on, and hopefully that's the way it will go, That. I
agree about the pressure. It's like there doesn't seem to be as many managers have been sacked this season because there's not the pressure from the fans when results don't go well. I mean, we had a terrible run before Christmas, lost 4 home games in a row. And if fans had been in a stadium, you can only imagine what the atmosphere would have been like. And that puts more pressure on the club to do something about that, doesn't it? Whether it's sacking the manager or doing something. And I think this season there's only been, I think 2 or 3 managers, hasn't there, that's lost their jobs at this point. Normally there's quite a lot more. So I do think it's made a difference. Probably positives in some ways. I mean, maybe Arteta's deserved a bit longer at Arsenal, so perhaps it was good that didn't happen when it could have done. But I think other teams, maybe, I know Newcastle have been complaining about Steve Bruce. Maybe if there'd been fans in the stadium, I think he might have been gone a while ago. And I think a few managers have maybe been saved by that. But it's not the same, is it? Watching football is not the same now, is it? No fans.
It took a long time, when it first started back and there was no fans. I found it really strange to watch. I thought, you see on telly, I thought, hold on, there's nothing there. And these, they have the soundtracks and everything like that. It's just not, it just ain't the same. It just feels weird. But, this is what we've got to get through. And then when everybody comes back, hopefully it'll be back as we was before. and then it'll be everybody can have a good day out, and if you win, you cheer, and it's natural, not artificial, which it is at the moment a bit that way, isn't it? It's not Eric normally was.
No, exactly. Yeah, it's not the same. Even just watching the games, I just feel as though this, even now, I thought, especially at the beginning when football first come back with no fans, I noticed that there seemed to be a lack of intensity from the teams on the pitch because maybe the fans wasn't driving it on. Although it's not quite the same now, I still feel that that's there a little bit. I still don't feel the games are quite played at the same pace or the same intensity as they would be when you got fans roaring the team on. Do you know what I mean? I think that it has affected the way teams play. And also, like you said, maybe a bit less pressure means that maybe teams aren't taking as many risks in games because they haven't got the fans pushing them to attack. So they're quite happy sometimes to sit back and not lose or not risk conceding a goal, maybe. I think there's a lot of differences. And I think when fans are back properly, which hopefully will be next season, hopefully we'll start to see a shift again back to maybe a bit more like the old days, but we'll see. Joe's got a question for you there, Steve. He says, do you like the old badge more than the new one? Obviously, you've changed your badge as well, like we have.
Oh, yeah. I like the old one. I mean, that's history again. The new one's the way forward, but you've still got the old badge there anyway. You can still look back at the old badge. It's never disappeared, but I can see where they've gone back with the old look, just the Irons Cross. But I don't mind it, but as I said, we've still. I mean, I've got the flag there. You've got the old badge is always still there, so it will never leave, and it will still. You can still wear it if you want to wear the old badge. I'll wear the old badge,
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, we've got the same. We changed our badge quite a while ago now, and there's talk that we might be changing it again to something a little bit more traditional, if you like, perhaps, and which I'm sure the fans would like. But yeah, I mean, that obviously that badge on the flag behind you, that's the West Ham I always remember, growing up and stuff, and that was always the way it was. And but I suppose it's like everything, isn't it? Like we said before, it's modern football, isn't it? It's changed a lot now, and things aren't the same, and they never perhaps will be, and we just have to maybe accept it. And like you said, if you want to wear the old badge, wear the old badge, and if you like the new one, wear that. It doesn't matter, does it really? At the end of the day, it's just a badge on a shirt, isn't it? The club's still the same ultimately, isn't it?
True, yeah.
So that's what matters. What I want to do is, I mean, obviously we will kind of come back and look at obviously tomorrow's game in a little bit more detail later on. But I just want to maybe go back and have a look at some kind of, some memories a little bit as well. So we'll start with this. I mean, my first ever Arsenal away game was at West Ham. Not really technically an away game, I guess, because West Ham was a local club. But that was in 1981, the first season I think that West Ham had got promoted back to Division 1. And we won 2-1. I remember the old away stand in the south stand, in the corner. You couldn't see the goal down there. You just couldn't see it at all because there was a big fence out there. And it was luckily that the 2 goals Arsenal scored that day were at the other end of the pitch in front of the North Bank. So I was able to see them. But that was, it was a strange kind of ground because I've never been to an away game before. So that was unusual. So that was my first ever memory of Arsenal playing West Ham actually being there. I mean, your memories probably go back a little bit further than that, will they? Or I suppose was West Ham won in the first division, were they till then actually?
No. I can go back to, I remember one I did go to, and that's a long story, but okay, sure. 82 at Highbury. I went with a couple of good. Yeah, you know the one. I'm going to go on there. Yeah. I went last, but I went as. My mates, we went at normal, but I had a West Ham sweatshirt underneath. But I didn't want to go in the away end because we was worried about the icy, loads of trouble and that. So I thought, what we're doing, a good idea, we're going to the Arsenal, the North Bank at Arsenal. So we've all haven't got our proper, no colours on, just coats on, everything. And I got my sweatshirt underneath with a zip right up to my neck so nobody could see anything. Anyway, so we went into the North Bank thinking we were totally safe, and the ICF got into the North Bank of Arsenal, and I had to run onto the pitch, basically.
I was on the pitch, I was on the pitch that day.
Smoke bombs going off, boom, red smoke bomb, bang, that went off. It was terrible. It was really bad, but so it wasn't a good idea at the end of the day. It seemed a good idea, but it wasn't, not a bad thing. But no, it was terrible. It happened afterwards as well. That guy got stabbed in, so that wasn't very nice.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it was at the station, wasn't it? Arsenal Station. Yeah. No, there was a lot of trouble that day. And I was on the North Bank as well. And I remember I got there with my mate, and a few people were saying there's a lot of unfamiliar faces here today, and it was obvious that there were West Ham, like a lot of West Ham in the North Bank that day, and obviously that's what happened in the end, didn't it? Like you said, there was a lot of trouble, and we were on the pitch. It was, I think, it was during the actual game, wasn't it, in the first half? And
there was a couple. Sorry, do you remember when there was a couple of sort of like there was like it was going to happen, and then it got stopped, and it didn't happen. They got down where one of your sides of your back to the North Bank, and it got stopped. So I was only in there just to be safe. I wasn't going in there for any other reasons. And then and then I think it happened again, and then it really did go. And I can remember I had a shoe off, and I saw one shoe, and I was trying to get it was these slip-on shoes. I'm trying to get his shoe on. It was terrible. But I had to get walked all the way from the North Bank all the way to the clock end. But it was just terrible. So
it was, it was
one of the best experiences.
No, it wasn't. I mean, outside the ground, it was bad as well, and it wasn't a lot of fun. But I guess that was 80s football, wasn't it? It happened a lot. I mean, I don't know what it was like with West Ham. I mean, I remember going to away games places, and it was you didn't know if you were going to get home in one piece half the time, did you? It was quite dangerous, actually. You don't really think about it at the time. You just go and you enjoy the kind of atmosphere of it all. But it was a dangerous. Football was quite a dangerous thing to do, actually, back in them days, wasn't it?
Yeah. I can remember like another one. I won't go into much about West Ham because I know it's a your channel, but we went on a train and we'd come back from Wimbledon, the Cup, and all West Ham fans got on a train. We got to a station just before Stamford Bridge, and they threw all stuff through the windows of the train, and we're down basically on the floor of the train, and they're trying to kick the doors in. It was terrible. And we managed to get through. Went on to the next station, and we sort of survived, but horrible, you know. That, as I said, that was the 80s. That basically was it.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, I remember coming back from some game once. We'd played Chelsea. We had early kickoff, and we were coming back. And obviously, I think West Ham were playing 3 o'clock, and we'd played at like 12 o'clock or something stupid. So we were coming back as the West Ham fans were going, and we'd got to Moorgate Station, and obviously a load of Arsenal fans, a load of Chelsea fans, a load of West Ham fans, all turned up at the same time almost at Moorgate Station. It was mental. That was there. And I mean, we got on the train, and we was going on the district line to go back to Elm Park, obviously. And there was a couple of West Ham fans got on at some point, and they were sort of. We thought there was going to be trouble, but they were just saying, "Oh no, what was the score? How did you get on?" All that kind of stuff, you know. And it was all right in the end, but Moorgate was mad. Moorgate was mad that day. We got off the train at Moorgate. It was just kicking off everywhere, police everywhere, and crazy. But yeah, Arsenal, Chelsea, and West Ham all together wasn't a good combination back in the 80s.
No. But all those things were arranged, weren't they? It was all arranged sort of like meetings, you know. So it was all done in advance. So, you know, you don't want to be caught up in that. It was last thing you'd want to do, really, to be caught up in anything like that. But said, hopefully we've sort of pushed on a bit more. And, you know, we're not hearing so much of all this sort of stuff. And it's a good thing, you know. We don't know.
Yeah,
you know.
It is. I mean, I've said it before a few times on the channel that I know it was like we said, it was dangerous in the 80s. Don't get me wrong, but the atmosphere at the games was a lot better, I think, than it is now. It's been, you know, it's more of a family day out to a certain degree now, going to football, and and that's a good thing. Don't get me wrong, but it's the atmosphere has suffered, hasn't it? Because you don't get the same kind of feelings that you used to get when it was terracing and all that. When you scored, you go down about 10 foot and all that kind of stuff.
I think once they cut standing out, I think it was. I know because of safety reasons and everything, but as you said, it's the atmosphere takes away, doesn't it? You can't do this, you can't do it. You've got to sit there basically, and you know most people want to stand up, don't they? So it's always going to be that problem. But
yeah, it is. It's a shame in a way, but yeah, it is a lot safer to go football now than it was, I suppose. But it's lost something along the way as well. I mean, obviously going back to Arsenal West Ham games. I mean, what other kind of games kind of stick out in your mind? Maybe for slightly better reasons than that one, maybe.
As I said, I went to Anglo-Italian Cup game in '92 at Cremonese. That was 3 days on the coach. That was a killer, but and we lost that. So you know, that wasn't a good one. But we've had a few good matches. Tend to play well, but I think better when we played like some of the bigger teams. You know, over the years, I can remember some of the bigger teams coming to Upton Park, and you know, as I said, used to say the night matches. You know, they really turned it on in the night matches, and which was a thing that we kept doing. So, you know, but as I said, we are an unpredictable side. We can be up 1 minute, down the next, and you know, it's you know, that's what happens. Any other matches? Well, there's a few, but mainly like derbies have seemed to be good. You know, obviously with the atmosphere and things like that. You know, the only other cup final we had was Liverpool, and I don't really don't want to go on about that one. We didn't do very well, but yeah. I mean, I went to the League Cup final in '81. We played Liverpool. I mean, that was fantastic at Wembley. That was good, you know. But then we lost the replay at Villa Park, you know. So not so good. But it was like I couldn't go to the '80 Cup final. I didn't get a ticket or anything. But the '81 was my cup final, you know, and I made it my sort of cup final. We drew. Ray Stewart scoring a late penalty, you know. That's good. That was a highlight, you know, going to Wembley and seeing your team play there. It's got to be an highlight, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think Alan Hansen scored the winning goal in the replay, didn't he, for Liverpool?
Yeah, right? It was. I think it was it Dalgletian, Hansen, or I know Goddard scored for West Ham.
Yeah, I remember Alan Hansen scoring. It's just he didn't score many goals. That was why I remember watching it on the telly. And quite surprised that it was him who had scored. Actually, a good player, but he never
scored
got
too many that day. He scored too many that day.
Well, yeah, one too many for you guys, definitely.
Yeah, for us.
Well, as well. I mean, I was cheering for West Ham to win actually because Liverpool won enough trophies in them days. Didn't want them to win anything. So, but yeah, unfortunately obviously they beat you in the cup final, didn't they? A few at the Millennium Stadium that game with Gerrard scoring in the last minute as well, didn't they? That was a good game, but unfortunately, again, that didn't quite go your way, did it? Either.
No. It's one of them things. Again, it's on the day. It's that last so many minutes and. There you go, Gerrard popped up and bang, straight in. But that's like anything, you know. This is what football is, isn't it? Really, you never know what's going to happen. That is a good thing about Premiership football or cup football. Yeah.
No, exactly. I mean, I remember an FA Cup game that we played against you guys at Upton Park. I think it was '89, and we were 2-0 down in the first half. It looked like we were going to go out, and then we scored twice in the second half. Paul Merson scored 2, and we drew 2-2, and then you won the replay at Highbury actually. I think it was
Rossini scored?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
I remember.
There was fans of West Ham that night on the clock in, like going mad when he scored. But you had a good record at Highbury actually for a while. You used to win quite a lot there. In fact, you were the last team to win as an away team at Highbury, and you were the first team as an away team to win at the Emirates as well.
That's true. Yeah.
So you had a pretty good record against us at one time, but I think in recent years we've probably had the upper hand maybe in the games, haven't we? Last maybe 10 years or so.
Yeah, true. It's like we've had a good. You know, you get your good times. You've got to get out of if you have 10 games or 5 games together, you've got to have so many. If luck turns your way, you get a good one, you know, or 2 in between, you know, but. It's all depending what side you've got at the time, how you are in the league, and it could be a mixture of anything really, defining the result of the match, you know, really. So
exactly, it is. I mean, I say a lot of games I can remember against West Ham have been close games actually, and it's been the odd goal here and there that's decided them, and you know, swung one way and the other. Sometimes it's been quite good. Joe in the chat there says he was glad that you guys beat Man United on the last day at Upton Park. Yeah, it's always nice to win your last game when you're moving out of your stadium, isn't it? I mean, we beat Wigan on our last day at Highbury, so I think it's fitting that you do, isn't it? You know, when the ground's got so much history for the club. Every week, and it's looking at this, which I think I quite enjoy this. Now, there is actually a massive list of players that's actually played for West Ham and Arsenal. It's like absolutely unbelievable over the years. I didn't want to go through them all just because there's so many, but there was a few in particular that I wanted to pick out, maybe some that maybe did better with West Ham and some that perhaps will be more known for Arsenal. But if we start with one that's maybe, I think probably will be well respected at both clubs. Fantastic player for Arsenal and probably at West Ham as well.
Oh, yeah. Chippy Brady, Yeah. No, he was great. great winger, great. I mean, he scored a couple of really good goals for West Ham when he came to West Ham as well after being with you all them years. So a lot of respect.
Yeah.
He's a great player. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I was he left Arsenal just before I started going, so I never saw him play for Arsenal in a proper game. I saw him playing a friendly, but I did see him play against us for West Ham, and I remember him scoring a goal at Upton Park. Really good goal it was. I think you beat us, and he scored, and even the Arsenal fans were cheering the goal almost, because it was.
Yeah.
He was. I mean, he was at the end of his career there as well. He was still a great player, wasn't he? Even then, when he was at West Ham. Obviously, there's one currently that's playing at the moment, isn't there? This guy.
He's doing well. Yeah. Fabianski. Yeah. He's
even at West Ham. He's been there a while, hasn't he?
Yeah. It's been a few years. He's goalkeeping. I mean, he does pull out some good reaction saves, and I really has played well considering. He's. Maybe, I don't know how many years he's going to have left or what, but he's still doing all right. He's put out a couple of saves after the last match, they're really good. I like him, I think he's great for the side. And now we're looking at somebody, I think they need somebody to back him up. We've got young goalkeepers, but looking at it, you've got Randolph, but we need somebody really to buy somebody now to, being as the quality of what he is, really. To follow him,
Yeah, I always liked Fabianski at Arsenal. He was never really a first choice goalkeeper. He was always the sort of reserve, really. But he did play quite a lot of games. He actually played 78 games for Arsenal, including one was in the FA Cup final he played as well. So he won the FA Cup. He's played 91 times for West Ham, actually, in three seasons that he's played. So he's pretty much been a regular every game, hasn't he?
That's true, yeah. He took over from Adrian, really, and he's. I've been really pleased with some of his performances. You feel if you've got a good goalkeeper, that is your last line of defence, and at the end of the day, you feel safer with a good goalkeeper than if you haven't got a good goalkeeper. No matter what your defence does, once it gets past them, then you start panicking if it doesn't. You've got nobody safe. We've had a couple of bad ones, but he's good. I like him. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, no, I always thought he was good, but unfortunately he never quite got the regular place at Arsenal. Another player I think did pretty well at West Ham, maybe didn't quite make it that well.
Yeah, he was great. He was. I remember the match he played when he first joined with Kitson, and we played Tottenham, and he scored a cracking goal, and he settled it. He was good, and then obviously later on there was the old Berkovic thing, and it was a shame really, but. I liked him as well. He was good. Any more, Richard? I can think of a couple.
In terms of John Hartson, funny enough, John Hartson played 71 games for Arsenal and 73 for West Ham, but he actually scored 33 goals for West Ham and only 17 for Arsenal. So he obviously had a much better strike record at West Ham. I think he did well at Celtic as well, didn't he, later on in his career as well? I think he's a legend there, isn't he? There's another one who maybe didn't quite hit it off at either club maybe more recently. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. It's a shame. Again, it didn't really work. It's like, sometimes it's like an ant can fit in a glove and be perfect for your club, or you can fit into the club, and then sometimes it doesn't work at another club, or it can happen a few times. They might find a club they actually fit into, but it's a shame, it's
funny enough, he's another one actually. Lucas Perez, he played 21 times for Arsenal, scored 7 goals, and he played 19 times for West Ham and scored 6 goals. So very similar kind of ratio for both clubs, but he never really made it at either club. I quite liked him actually when he was at Arsenal. He never really got much of a chance. He seemed like he knew where the goal was. I remember he scored a hat-trick in the Champions League once. And he looked quite a decent player for me, but he never quite managed to settle, and it doesn't look like he particularly settled at West Ham either, unfortunately. As a player who's obviously a big legend at Arsenal, played towards the end of his career at West Ham, but I think he did well for you guys, didn't he? Nigel Winterburn.
Yeah, he was, again, good. Experienced player. It's what we needed at the back. I think we went down, was it 2003? I know we went down one season. I know he was playing, but he was experienced. If you've got an experienced player, he's played a lot of games for Arsenal, it will carry through, and I think he proved it when he came to West Ham. That experience was there, and a lot of the younger players look up to the more experienced players. So, it was good for the younger players as well. You know, if there's young defenders, they're looking and saying, well, you know, they'll look up to him. And they can get, you know, obviously better through playing with somebody like that.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. I mean, he actually played 429 games for Arsenal, which over a long time, really great player. And he played three seasons for West Ham, played 94 games. So he was pretty much a regular in your side when he was there. And like you said, a lot of experience.
Yeah.
And I think actually when you went down in 2003, I think that's when he kind of left. And I don't know if he just didn't renew his contract. I think he retired after that. But yeah, he was a great player as well. And of course, another where is he? Where's he gone? I've got a picture of him somewhere. Another Arsenal legend who here he is, who did all right at West Ham, didn't he?
Oh yeah. You can't beat him, right? Can you? Yeah, he's a great player.
I mean, he was only at West Ham for one season, I think, wasn't he? I think he was injured for a bit of that as well, wasn't he? When he was there.
That's true. Yeah, but I mean, he's an icon. You know, it just follows you through, doesn't he? He knew where to put the ball. He knew everything. So, it was a good player, a great player to get, even if we'd only got the last little, I know he moved on after that, but obviously, he was getting older, but it was great just to have him in the club, really, I think.
No, it was. I mean, I say he'd kind of been pushed out the Arsenal side by kind of a Nicolas Anelka, and then we signed Thierry Henry, and he was never going to make, get in the team. But he did play 288 games for Arsenal, still our second highest ever goal scorer, 185 goals. And he played 26 times for West Ham that season, scored 9. So he didn't have a bad strike rate, even though he was obviously past his best by that point. Another player I actually feel was a really good player for Arsenal. We only had him on loan, but I think he did really well at West Ham before.
Yeah, he was good. He was great. He was Berkovic. No, what was he? Benny Yoon. Yeah, he was good. Yeah, he was again a player that could. You get some players that can move the ball about and the passing and everything, can set goals up. You're looking at a player which is a quality player, and he was good for West Ham when he was there. Great memories of him playing, really.
Yeah, no, he was a good player. He actually played 72 games for West Ham. He actually came back, didn't he, later on in his career as well, briefly. Played another 6 games, and he scored 8 goals for West Ham. He was on loan from, I think he was at Chelsea at the time. He was on loan with us for a season. He played 25 games and scored 6 goals. I thought he was a good player, actually. I really rated him. Obviously, he did well at Liverpool as well, didn't he? In between, he played for some big clubs, didn't he? Actually, Ben Ivan. He played for Chelsea, Arsenal, West Ham. He had a pretty good career in England, as it goes. Another player who maybe had a better, probably certainly a lot more appearances for West Ham than he did for Arsenal. Do you remember much about him?
About Moult? Yeah. Lewis Van Moult. Yeah. He was. He was. Again, it was. He done. I mean, I liked him. You get some people that go, well, you got your different, but I thought he was good. He done well, considering. He moved on, and I was quite happy with him. He come from Fulham, didn't he? He went from Fulham to us, I think, and he was a good player. He was a good player as well.
I mean, he never quite made it at Arsenal, but at the time he played for Arsenal, we were winning the double and stuff like that. We had a really good team, and he maybe wasn't quite that level. He was like the replacement for Mark Overmars when he was out of the team, and he played 37 games for Arsenal, scored 4 goals. He actually played 109 times for West Ham, which is, quite a lot of games over. I think it was 2 or 3 years that he played. So, but he seemed to be quite good at West Ham. Another player who maybe was a lot better at West Ham than he was at Arsenal, a player I never really liked at Arsenal at all back in the day. Do you remember him at West Ham?
I remember once. He did. I don't think he was a favourite at West Ham. I don't mean to be able to leave it. I don't think he was a favourite. I remember him after one reserve match, and there were some kids there, and they were saying things I'm not going to say, but but it was. I don't think he ever got that sort of respect, or it just didn't. I don't know. I don't know what it was like for you. What was he like for you, really? Or
well, I mean, we bought him in 1982, and I suppose it didn't help him that he was kind of looked on as a replacement for Frank Stapleton, who we'd sold the year before, and he was still quite a young player. And unfortunately for us, he was dreadful, really, really terrible. He couldn't control the ball, and he just had no confidence. And I was actually shocked when he went on to have the success he did with Sheffield Wednesday and, of course, Leeds when he won the league.
scored a lot of goals. He always scored stuff as well. I mean, he only played 28 games for Arsenal, scored 5 goals, and I know he came to West Ham towards the end of his career, didn't he? Really, it was more later on. He did play 51 games for West Ham, scored 11 goals, which isn't a bad strike rate for a striker in the end of their career. But it doesn't sound like he made that much of an impression on the fans, unfortunately, which he certainly didn't at Arsenal. But obviously, I think Leeds love him still because he scored a lot of goals for them, didn't he? And won them, helped them to win the league. Obviously, a player who played more recently, not that much for West Ham, and a great player at Arsenal.
Yeah, it's a shame. I liked him, but it's a shame because of the injury thing, we took a risk, but it's a shame. But as a person, I've met him. He's a nice guy. He was all right. It was good.
Yeah, no, he was a good player, but obviously injuries ruined his career really. Unfortunately, he seemed to suffer. He'd just come back and he'd get injured again and he'd be out for 6 months. And although he did end up playing 197 games for Arsenal, although that was over 10 years, so it's not that many games every season if you look at it like that. He scored 14 goals. He played 19 games for West Ham over 3 years, so again, not many games, just scored 1 goal. And I think he's gone back to Bournemouth now, hasn't he?
That's right, Richard, yeah. Gone to Bournemouth, and he scored, hasn't he? I think he scored for him.
Yeah, because you guys released him from his contract, didn't you, in January? Because he wasn't really getting. He wasn't going to be part of the plans, unfortunately. A player who probably did quite well at West Ham. Do you remember him?
Oh yeah. Matthew Upson, yeah.
Matthew Upson,
he was good. Yeah, he was. It's like we've got Dawson there, and you look and you get some of these players in, and sometimes they look really good. They are. You don't have to be the biggest player, but if you're he's in defence, obviously a defender, and you keep that defence going, and you've got that stability, he was good. Yeah, I really liked him.
Steve said there, he must be talking about Jack Wilshere. Nearly scored a cracker today. Well, there you go. So obviously he's still doing all right, isn't he? Just I say, if he can keep clear of injuries, I think he can still offer something really good because he's got the ability.
Yeah. That's the thing. If he'd done that at West Ham, obviously it didn't work. But it's looking like it's good for him now. So good luck to him.
Exactly. Yeah, I hope he does well because he was a good player at Arsenal. Now, what I also do usually, I go back to some really old players that played for both clubs. I've managed to find a few. There's one here actually, which he's got an Arsenal record in actual fact. You probably won't know who he is. I wouldn't have thought. Do you know who he might be?
No, I've seen that. I mean, I've probably seen a picture of him, but I can't think honestly. Rich, no.
His name is Roddy McEachran. He actually played for West Ham in 1898 to 1902. He played 113 games for West Ham, scored 6 goals, so he did all right. And then he came to Arsenal in 1902, and he stayed until 1913. He played 346 games, and his record is he played the most games for Arsenal before the Highbury years. Before we moved to Highbury, he was a record appearance. 346 games he played. So he's quite a good player for Arsenal. And another player who kind of switched teams at the same time. I don't know if they were mates, but they kind of moved at the same time. That's the only picture of him I could find, which isn't the greatest picture, if I'm honest. And I do apologise to his family if they're watching. But that was the only picture I could find of him. Do you know who he might be? Any ideas?
No, go on. You'll have to tell me, Rich.
His name is James Bigden. And he played 91 games for West Ham, 1901 to 1904, scored 3 goals. And he played 87 games for Arsenal, 1904 to 1908, and scored 1 goal. And there were 3 players who all moved at the same time, or around about the same time. And I couldn't find a picture of the other one. Oh, yes, I've got it. It's here. Here he goes. He's another one. He's the other one who kind of moved around the same time from West Ham to Arsenal. Do you know who he is? You probably won't.
Again, I don't know. God,
his name, Charlie Salterthwaite, his name is apparently. Wow. And he had a good scoring record for West Ham. He played 1903 to 1904, played 36 games, scored 18 goals, so won every other game. Wow. And he then moved to Arsenal, played from 1904 to 1910, played 141 times for Arsenal and scored 48 goals. So decent goal scorer in his time, and he did pretty well for himself. One a little bit more recent, actually, who played actually quite a lot of games for both clubs back in the day. This was back in the 30s and 40s he played. Do you know who he is?
You got me again. Go on, you tell me, Rich. Go on.
His name's Archie McCauley. And he played for West Ham 1937 through the war to 1946. He played 83 games for West Ham, scored 29 goals. So he probably was a decent attacking player. I think he must have played in defence for Arsenal because he played 103 games for Arsenal and only scored 1 goal. So he obviously switched positions because he scored a lot of goals for West Ham. So he must have been a forward player for them and then maybe moved into a deeper position at Arsenal. He played 3 seasons at Arsenal, 47 to 1950. So he was probably in the squad that won the league in 1948 for Arsenal, actually. So he probably won a league winners medal with Arsenal. So, but they're sort of the old players I remember. There's another couple I wanted to look at quickly. You probably will remember him a little bit more easily.
Oh yeah.
Do you know
what's his name? I know. He was defender, yeah. Defender.
Yeah.
I forgot his name's going to me. I'm Sarah on it. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he was on loan, wasn't he? For a while.
Carl Jenkinson.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
Yeah,
I should know. That's cool.
That's not good, is it? Don't tell him that.
No, that's memory. I think that's age, Richard. That's age.
Yeah, it probably is. It probably is. He was on loan, obviously, from us to West Ham. He played 70 games for Arsenal, funnily enough. He was there for 8 years in total, but he didn't really play very often. Scored 1 goal, and he played 59 games for West Ham over 2 years. He was injured for 1 season, I think, when he was on loan, wasn't he? I think he was injured quite a bit. And he did score 2 goals for West Ham. So he did all right, didn't he, for West Ham? On loan, he seemed okay. And I think he's still playing. Is he back at Nottingham Forest? I think he might be, actually, because he was there.
He was last time I heard, yeah.
I think he was there. But anyway, I'm not too sure. But I know he didn't quite make it. He was a big Arsenal fan. He used to have Arsenal wallpaper on his wall when he was a kid and everything. I think his family were big Arsenal fans.
That's always good, isn't it?
He must have loved to have played for Arsenal. Yeah, just so it didn't quite work out for him. And another player, obviously, a big Arsenal legend who did play. I think it was 1 season he played at West Ham at the end of his career. And that picture there kind of sums up because I think he was
Freddie Ljungberg, Freddie Ljungberg, yeah.
But what do you remember doing at West Ham? Was he all right for you guys?
He was all right. I mean, I don't remember anything really basically stand out, but I think he carried on. You know, he was all right the length of time he was there, and obviously he done really all right for you, better for you than us. And we seem to get a lot of players at the end of their careers, or when they're just a little bit, not quite what they used to be. But it's nice to have them in the club, And as I said, it's good for the young players, and I think it's a good thing, But I can't remember. I remember I've met him, but I can't remember a lot. I remember him signing something for me. That was about it. That's all I can remember. But he's a good player for Arsenal, for you anyway.
No, he was. Yeah, he played 325 games for Arsenal, scored 72 goals. Yeah. Won a lot of trophies, 2 doubles. He scored in the FA Cup final, of course, against Chelsea back in the day. And then at West Ham, he played 28 games and scored 2 goals at the end of his career. So I remember he played 1 game against Arsenal. I remember him playing against us once during that season. But yeah, he'd great player for Arsenal. But I think by the time you got him, unfortunately, he was maybe past his best, wasn't he? And didn't quite maybe push on. But I suppose he was just seeing out his career. I feel like you said you've had a few players like that, haven't you? Maybe that's come from Arsenal. Yeah. I mean, another one that I think didn't play much for West Ham. Again, maybe towards the end of his career. Sammy Nasri.
As I said, he was. I don't know. I can't remember who he was for you, but I mean, for us, we hardly saw much of him, and it just didn't really. It's like I think they want someone with experience, and he was cheap to get for a little while towards the end of his career, and they got him for a little while, and that's it really. Yeah. There's nothing. It's like the end. You get the end knockings of a career of a player where he's been probably a lot better elsewhere before, and as we've done it so many times. But
I mean, he was a great player for Arsenal. He didn't stay long enough. Of course, he went to Man City like a lot of our players did at that time. He played 125 times for Arsenal, scored 27 goals, which is all right for midfield. And he only played 6 games for West Ham, so obviously it didn't quite work out. And I don't know if is he still playing? Do you know? Is he retired now? He must be towards the end.
He might be playing. He might still be playing. I can't think where he is or what's happened to him. But I'll have to look at it after this, and it intrigued me to find out, whether he's or not.
I'm not sure if he's still playing. He did leave a little bit of taste in the mouth of Arsenal fans the way he left and stuff like that. Unfortunately,
again, that's not good.
Yeah, there was a player that played one season at each club. Actually, he played slightly more games for Arsenal. I always thought he was good, but again, he was maybe towards the end of his career. Do you remember him at West Ham?
Yeah. I think he done a lot. Obviously, he was better for you, and for us, we got the last little bit of what we saw of him. But I met him as well. Yeah, he's all right. Yeah, he was like, I don't think he ever scored the goals. He scored, I think. I'm trying to think who he scored against. It was either Man U or something. I remember he scored one good goal, that I could say would stand out. But again, he was, you probably had the best times. He probably had better times before he got to us. But
yeah, no, I think so. Yeah, I mean, he only played one season for Arsenal. Actually, he played 39 games, scored 11 goals. A lot of the games he played for Arsenal was off the bench, so he wasn't a regular starter. But he still scored 11 goals, and he scored 3 times for West Ham in total. 13 games he played, scored 3 goals. I mean, he was always a goal scorer, wasn't he? He knew where the goal was. But he maybe didn't quite work out for him at either club, really. And there is another player who was a real big legend at Arsenal. He's still one of our top ever highest goal scorers in the club's history, actually. And he did end his career at West Ham, I think, as well.
Yeah, John.
Did you see John Radford? John Radford, yeah. Did you see him play for West Ham, or was he a little bit just before your time?
Before my time, no.
Would have been a bit before, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I can think of a couple more, Rich. I don't know if you say Steve Walford.
I've got a few. I've got Steve Walford, who is. I got a picture of him now, a bit later on in his life. He was a coach somewhere. Steve Walford. Yeah, I've got him. There is a couple of others that maybe didn't leave that much of an impression. Do you remember this guy?
I'm trying to think who he is. Sorry, who's that? Sorry, you got me.
His name's Kaba Diawara.
Oh yeah.
He
Funny enough,
15
games, but obviously I can't remember it a lot. It could have been very long, could he? He wasn't very long at West Ham, I know that.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't long at either club. He played 15 games for Arsenal and 11 for West Ham, so he wasn't really at either club very long. In his time at Arsenal, he played 15 games. I think he hit the woodwork about 10 times, but never scored. Just seemed to be a bit unlucky, really, for some reason. He seemed to play a few games. I've got a couple of other pictures of. Let's have a look if I've got that we haven't said. This guy as well, actually. I quite liked him at Arsenal. I think he was injury prone a little bit. He won Player of the Year a couple of times at West Ham, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't think what I've read into, he got on with a lot of the other West Ham players. So I've heard, in things that have been written, there wasn't that. I think he was more an Arsenal player than he was a West Ham player. Even though he won a couple of awards, I don't think he got on well with the other players. This is what I've heard, but I don't know. It's only what I've seen written, And some of the stories, I've been to a couple of the old West Ham players' nights, and a couple of stories come out, where they mention things, but I don't think he really gelled with some of the other players. But I don't know.
Okay.
I can't criticise it, but.
I know he left Arsenal a little bit. I think he fell out with George Graham and stuff like that. And I always thought he was a good player. He had a couple of really good seasons at Arsenal, but again, he had a lot of injuries. I think he was injured by West Ham, wasn't he? He ended up playing 186 games for Arsenal, 21 goals, and he played 69 times for West Ham and scored 4 goals. I remember him playing against Arsenal for West Ham a couple of times. I think he played for Coventry later on as well, didn't he? After that.
Yeah, that's true.
I think his career ended early. I know a lot of Arsenal fans don't like him now because he's criticised the club quite a lot in our, on meeting and stuff like that. But I don't mind him. I liked him as a player, and everyone's got their right to their opinion, haven't they? Whether you agree with it.
True, yeah.
You know what I mean? I do think he's maybe bitter about the way he left Arsenal, perhaps, and that comes across sometimes. But I don't really mind him. There are a couple of other. Players that, let me see. Is there anyone else that you can think of? I might have a picture of somewhere. I've got a few others. Can you think of anyone else?
I'm trying. I'm struggling. I think you've done quite a lot of them. You've done well.
This guy here, do you remember him? I think he did probably better for you than he did for us, actually. Slightly better.
That is. Go on, you tell me, because it's gone away from me again.
It's Henry Lansbury.
Oh, yeah. He was on loan, wasn't he, at West Ham? He was on loan for a little bit.
Yeah, I think he was on loan, yeah. He actually played a lot more games for you. He played 24 games for West Ham. He only played 8 times for us.
I think he's at Forest now, if I'm right. Or he went
to
Forest.
Yeah, I think he is, yeah.
Yeah, he looked like he was going to be one of them players, a young player who comes through. You think he's going to break through and be the next big thing, and he never quite made it. And he
shame,
he's drifted around.
Sometimes the promise is there with a player, and you think they're going to do this, they're going to do that, and at the end of the day, they just don't do it. But it's a shame, considering they got the obviously the talent there, it hasn't gone forward. But,
it is a shame. There's been a few over the years actually that have never quite, pushed on and had the career that you thought they were going to. And I think he was one of them. Actually, he scored against Tottenham for us in the League Cup, and I think everybody was going mad, thinking, "Oh, he's going to be."
That's got to be good anyway, isn't it? That's a good memory.
He was good at the time, but he never quite kind of put that was his highlight of his whole Arsenal career. Another player, similar kind of one, really. He never quite made it really at Arsenal and drifted around a bit. Do you remember him playing for West Ham?
Yes, I can't think his name. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know him. I'm trying to think of his name. Again, sort of like a player you don't have for long. And then he went again. It's like he did. How many games did he play for West Ham? Did he got
8? He only played 8. Yeah, he just played 8 for West Ham. So he's easily forgotten. I don't blame you for not remembering him. He played 51 games for Arsenal, surprisingly enough. I didn't think he'd played that many. He scored 9 goals. But a lot of the games he played for Arsenal were in the League Cup and, a lot lesser games. He was never a regular. But then I suppose we had Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp at the time, so you can't blame him for not getting a game. I suppose it must have been frustrating for players like him.
You've got big major players and these other players just can't get into the team and they end up going elsewhere to another club, don't they? Yeah. But that's how it goes, isn't it? Yeah. You're not going to take your best players out, are you?
There's a couple of others. I haven't got some pictures for some of them. Marian Chamakh was another one who briefly played for West Ham, 3 games. Do you remember much about him playing for West Ham?
Chamakh? No.
It was only 3 games.
I might not your memory if you got a picture, but I can't think of him now.
No, it was only 3 games. He played 67 for Arsenal, scored 14 goals. He played for West Ham 2012 to 2013 season. It must have been on loan. I'm assuming in 3 games he played. That was
normally.
Forgotten him. Another player that only played 5 times for West Ham. The same season. 2011, 2012 he played for West Ham and he played 5 games. David Bentley.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know David Bentley. And he played for Spurs, didn't he? Play for Spurs?
Yeah, he played for Spurs. Yeah, but we don't.
We won't mention that one. No.
He only actually played 9 games for Arsenal. Scored 1 goal. He was another one that was looked on as being the next big thing, the next Dennis Bergkamp. He was touted as being. He scored a great goal in the cup. Just never know. He drifted through his career, and in the end, I think he just gave up football when he was quite young because he lost interest in it.
Terrible. It's a shame. Yeah, shame.
Yeah, it was a shame. Another goalkeeper of ours that you had briefly as well, Manuel Almunia, played 4 games for West Ham.
Yeah, I remember him.
He was a terrible goalkeeper. Honestly, I thought he was.
I see him at the reserves. That's all I can say. I remember. I said I met him at one of the reserve matches. So, yeah. But
he only played 4 games for West Ham. He actually played 175 for Arsenal somehow, and I can't remember any of them being any good because he was one of the worst goalkeepers I can remember seeing at Arsenal actually. But he was there for a long time and played a lot of games, but. Not the greatest player. Who else have we got? I think there's 1 or 2 others. Let's have a look. Who have we got? Sol Campbell was on my list only because he played for West Ham at youth level. We never played for the first team.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't play for the first team. He just played. He came from West Ham youth, and then he ended up going to Tottenham, obviously, and came to Arsenal. And Clive Allen as well, who never actually played for Arsenal. Well, he did sign for Arsenal. And then again, that was towards the end of his career, wasn't it? At West Ham,
he done quite well actually because he got one of the goals that got us up. We played Cambridge last match of the season, and we got us into like the Premiership. So that was great. Him and David Speedie. Well, he wasn't a West Ham player really, yeah. But again, that was another one. Yeah, it was a bit of a weird one, but they both got us up. So
he played 38 games for West Ham, scored 17 goals. So, not a bad goal scoring record. He seemed to do
because he started when he was younger, wasn't it? From Palace, was it Palace? And he didn't play one match, did he? It was like really strange. I don't think he played one. Did he play one match?
No, he didn't. He played
No.
2 or 3 friendlies, and then Arsenal sold him and got Kenny Sampson in place of him, which a left back, which was strange. But obviously, Kenny Sampson was a great Arsenal career he had anyway, so that didn't actually work out too bad. But yeah, that was a strange one. But he didn't actually play for Arsenal's team, but he obviously had a good career, didn't he? Clive Allen scored a lot of goals.
Right, yeah. Oh yeah.
And
He
obviously,
done
the
well
Allen
after-
family, the Allen family's got a record with West Ham, and obviously because Paul Allen played for West Ham, didn't he?
That's right.
And,
Yeah.
Was it Paul Allen's dad who also played for West Ham back in the day?
Yeah. I think he played for Tottenham. One of them played for Tottenham, didn't he?
Les Allen.
Les Allen, yeah. Tottenham, I think, yeah.
Did he not play for West Ham as well?
I don't think so. I might be wrong, but I know he played for Tottenham. I do know that anyway.
Oh, yeah, I know. Obviously, Paul Allen played for West Ham, didn't he?
Yeah.
Played the FA Cup final, didn't he?
Willie Young.
Willie Young. Yeah. Greatest moment ever.
What would it have been? I don't know, but anyway, well, don't matter about it now. It's gone and done with it. Yeah.
No, it was that was probably one of the most famous FA Cup final memories. That is moments, really. That everyone knows about that. Don't everyone talks about it still.
Yeah.
What I liked about it, actually, I know obviously it wasn't great for poor Paul Allen, but the foul that he did, Willie Young, he didn't try to hurt him. It was just such a gentle foul, wasn't it? He knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He didn't bring him down, but he didn't do anything other than just tap his leg so he falls over. And I thought that was quite nice. Because Willie Young was quite a dirty player generally, and normally he'd push players into the stand. But with him, he just sort of, I'll just clip your leg so you fall over, so you can't.
He didn't want to hurt him because he was so young. He just wanted to stop him.
Yeah, no, you do, yeah. But it's one of the most famous FA Cup final moments. That for me. When I've got a picture of him, I remember this guy. Obviously, a bit before our time, unfortunately. Do you remember much about him?
Bobby Gould.
Bobby Gould, yeah. He did play quite a bit for West Ham, actually. We played quite a bit for both clubs, actually. He had a decent career. He played 65 games for Arsenal, scored 16 goals, and that was 68 to 70. He then played for West Ham 73 to 75. Played 51 games and scored 15 goals. So did all right for West Ham, did all right for Arsenal. He scored in a League Cup final for Arsenal, actually, and I think that was in 68 or 69. We lost to Swindon. He scored Arsenal's goal. So he scored at Wembley for Arsenal, and I think that might be. I think that. Oh no, actually, there is another one. There is another one. I briefly forgot him. Sorry, because I did quite like him at Arsenal. Nice hair.
Oh yeah, Alex Song. Yeah, nice guy. Yeah, I met him a few times. Really nice guy. Always stop. Coming out of training ground, always stop for anyone. Really nice.
Yeah, no, he was a decent player actually. He played 46 times for West Ham over 2 years, which I think.
I like
he played
him.
That much. Yeah, he did.
I like him a lot. Yeah.
He played 215 games for Arsenal, actually, more than I thought he had. He's got 10 goals. He was a good player, actually, Alex Song. I always thought he was decent. And I think he's still playing now somewhere in the world.
Yeah, he played in Russia, I think, somewhere like that.
He did. At one time, he did. Yeah, but he's still playing. I'm sure he is, but he must be. Yeah. He must be in his 40s now. Is he late 30s, early 40s?
Getting on a bit, yeah. As us, we're 52, and he's getting on a bit, so he's not really.
Yeah. Well, no, he's not really. In football terms,
he's younger.
He always look young. He's looking younger than us, but yeah, he's in football terms. He's maybe not
football terms. Yeah.
But I think that's about all I've got. Actually, I think that's about all I've got. We've got Dave in the chat there says, "Big up, Richard and Steve. Yep, cheers, mate. Thanks for watching." And surely Shemek is the best player to play for both clubs with a smile. He probably isn't. I would say out of all of them players, I think the best player to play for both clubs is probably Liam Brady. I don't know. What you think.
He was, like a magician, wasn't he? A winger. He reminded me of we had Alan Devonshire, who was in that sort of mould.
Yeah.
Score more goals, spectacular goals, from the wing, or them sort of goals where he'd hit and he'd fly into the other corner. It's like brilliant. Yeah, brilliant player. Yeah.
I'm sort of gutted I never got to see him play for Arsenal because that would have been a great player to have seen. And Dave says there, you're talking about Alex Song. He's playing in Djibouti apparently, and he's only 33. Oh well, there you go.
He's even younger, isn't he? Makes us look even older.
He's younger, isn't he? He's just a little puppy, isn't he? And we were saying how old he was. But anyway,
he must have been really young when he first came to Arsenal. Then, if he's only 33 now.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Anyway, well, he was a good player. I liked him anyway, and he has got decent hair.
He's a nice guy. He's
always good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's pretty much all. Then we've exhausted. Actually, there was some good players there, actually, wasn't there? But
some great ones.
A lot of them, like you said, maybe joined West Ham maybe at the end of their career when they maybe had their better days at Arsenal, perhaps. But yeah, no, it was good to see a few of them again, wasn't it? So a good few memories of some good players down the years. What we'll do now, we'll come back, sort of look at the game tomorrow, and we'll start with what we think about this. So obviously the predicted lineups for tomorrow's game. I mean, Mikel Arteta, you never know what he's going to do. And I've noticed actually West Ham, you tend to change your formation quite a bit, don't you? 3 at the back or 4 at the back. What do you think? What do you think? What he's going to do tomorrow? What do you think he'll do tomorrow? What sort of formation?
I mean, we've always played like this. We've got this false number 9, situation, which, obviously we haven't got the striker power. So, which is, I think, not a good thing. But he's probably technically worked out what he can do technically that he can do. The best thing he can do. So it'd be interesting to see. I mean, we've had 4 nows in, 4 nows out. Sometimes he plays. Hopefully, Antonio's playing and he's feeling fit. Otherwise, he's been putting he's just bowing in. And he's not really. I'd like to see 2 strikers in myself. Like 2. The ball comes over. You got. Even if it's a big striker and a small striker, you've got somebody up front that you can do something with rather than relying too much on Antonio or Bowen, who's not naturally a striker. You're looking at Lingard behind, which is he can press on. He's always liable to set people up, but you're relying on like Souček and people to come, for the headers, the set pieces, which probably will happen again, But I keep going. I mean, I wish we add another striker. I think that's what we need, to give some real force, in the West Ham, for West Ham, basically, And I think that's where we're lacking. And as I said, I do worry, we're looking at internationals, and they're talking about Antonio. He's talking about, going away with Jamaica. He might go to Jamaica. He doesn't. It's not been made up yet, but they've done their squad. He's not in the Jamaican squad, but he's not chosen yet, or he hasn't chose where he's going to go. But it's another risk. It could be another injury. Taking the player from the league situation, he goes international duty. You get injured, you come back. You've lost him. So, but it will be interesting to see what's going to happen tomorrow. Probably the same sort of scenario. It's all they can do really. As I said, with 2 goalkeepers we've had on the bench, so that's how stretched we are. And do you put younger players? The risk factor is it's too much for them. Some of they won't take that risk. I think Moyes wants to be safe. He knows the time when he wants them certain players in. So probably be the same team we've been playing. Basically with Antonio up front, and we've been going. So I can't see too much change there, really.
Yeah, no, I think Souček's a good player, isn't he, for you guys in midfield? Yeah. He offers like you said, he offers a threat from set pieces because he's really strong in the air. But I think he's a good player as well, isn't he? In open play, I think he's a decent player. He's strong, wins tackles, he can pass the ball. He's a sort of player that would probably be good for Arsenal actually in our midfield, because that's an area that we've been lacking actually. I think he scores goals as well. None of our midfield players tend to score, so he'd be a bonus for us. I mean, I say with Mikel Arteta, you never know what he's going to do. I haven't got a clue what our team will be. Of course, we played Thursday night as well in the Europa League. Not very well, unfortunately, but so he'll probably rotate the squad a little bit. Do you think you'll play 3 at the back then tomorrow? Do you think you'll go 4 at the back? Do you think it'll be more
interesting? Don't know. You never know what he's going to do, but it will be interesting to see what he does. But I mean, we've got good defence. I mean, but even we've got Ogbonne's coming back at some point. He's been injured. Safal's good player, another one we've got, you know, with Souček. They're two, you know, I think from that their league, you know, from that club, there's some good players. You know, everybody's looking at these major big players everybody knows, but there are a lot of other decent players that people don't know that can be, you know, they go to a club in Europe and can be really good. But until they do, and you know, you find these little gems really. But you know, hopefully we'll try and do, or Moyes will try and do the best he can. You know, with what we've got.
I'm sure he will. Shane, of course, he's actually Irish. He said, "Is Declan Rice good enough for England?" He said he was gutted that he didn't choose Ireland. He's a good player, Declan Rice, isn't he?
Yeah. That's our worry with the, you know, you're looking at the Chelsea thing, and he's, you know, they didn't want to. I think Lampard got sacked on the fact that he wanted Rice, you know, and he didn't get Rice, and he kept pushing it, and then they got rid of him. But I think, you know, they're saying Manchester United, but at the end of the, you know, at the end of the day, it's where he wants to be, and it's the money thing, isn't it? I think we're looking at more money now because the performances are getting better, and the better a player gets, obviously, the more dearer they are. So, you know, price-wise, it's going upwards, you know. So just see what happens, but hopefully he doesn't. I mean, he's a great player for us, and we wouldn't want to lose him, really, you know.
No, exactly. Yeah, I mean, he is a good player. I think he's getting better as well, isn't he? As he's, you know, he's getting a bit older, he's getting a bit more mature, and he's certainly been, you know, he's had a great season, hasn't he? Consistent season for West Ham, and I think he's quite important to the team actually, which is good for you guys. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'll get more of a sort of chance for England actually, because he's a sort of player in midfield. England don't really have a lot of his sort of player, do they? Really, that, you know, I think Jordan Henderson's a little bit injury prone now, coming to the end of his career perhaps, and you know, Declan Rice will be a good player to maybe come in and replace him perhaps in the team, you know, going forward. So we'll see how that works out.
He's only young. He's still young, exactly. So he's got room for improvement even more. Yeah. And of course he did score the winning goal for you guys against us, didn't he, a couple of years ago? I seem to remember. Yeah, true. Yeah, his first goal, I think that was. Yeah,
his first goal. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. But anyway, hopefully you won't score tomorrow, but we'll see. Luca's in the chat. How you doing, Luca? Yeah, good for you. Thanks for watching, mate. And he thinks we'll beat West Ham, and he said he'd take Souček. Yeah, I think we definitely would take Souček without a shadow of a doubt. And a point about Declan Rice from EDJ there says Declan Rice's class has definitely been pivotal of West Ham. Yeah, he is a good player. There's no doubt about that. And I'm sure he'll get an opportunity for England as well. But let's just hope he doesn't, from our point of view, he doesn't have too good a game tomorrow. But the midfield's at the area. I think that's our weak area in our team, the midfield. So, you know, I think you've got Souček, you've got Declan Rice. Is Mark Noble still playing much? I know he's maybe kind of reaching the end of his career.
Yeah, I think he's near enough at the end. I think he's saying enough goodbye to us, you know. But whether he may be pushed into, it'd be nice to see him be pushed into like a coaching role or something, you know, still stay with the club.
Yeah.
But I think he's lost his pace. You know, there's not that pace there, and there is. I see. You know, he's like anything. You come to the end of your career. You know, obviously you slow down, and I just think, you know, they keep him there. I mean, he's good in the dressing room. He's there. He's around everyone. It's got to be a good thing as being an experienced player. And as I said, momentum for the younger players again. You know, it's just he's got that kind of. I'm in the dressing room. You know, I can tell the people that do this, and it's just being there in the club, I think, you know. But I think generally, you know, he said he's going to finish soon, so I think, you know, that is going to be it. So it might be swan song season, last season, or something, like that.
Maybe it will, Maybe it'd be nice for him to, because obviously they're hoping to get fans in for the last couple of games, so maybe at least he might be able to say goodbye to the fans in the stadium.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah,
that'd be nice because he's spent all his whole career at West Ham, hasn't he? All the way through. So he's been a great player. And EDJ there said that he thinks Declan Rice will make a good partnership with Thomas Partey in midfield. Yeah, he would actually. Yeah. But I can't see us being able to buy Declan Rice, if I'm honest. I just don't think that would ever happen. It'd be nice, but I just don't think.
It took 100 million last time. It's going higher and higher. You know, they're really trying to get. You know, if they want to try and price him out of the market, basically, so nobody will pay that money. You know.
Yeah, You know, exactly, and you can understand why. And I'm not sure if he'd come to Arsenal anyway. I mean, let's face it. You know, you're looking at things at the moment, the way West Ham are going. They're in a, you know, they're doing better than Arsenal. So he might think that he's better off staying there anyway. Especially if you're in Europe next season and we're not. You know, it might be the way it is. And EDJ again, he says, props to West Ham. They've been superb this season. Definitely deserve top 6. No, he's right. I agree. I think West Ham have been great this season, and it's been good. It's good. I mean, this season, I know it has been a strange season, hasn't it? There's been a lot of strange results this season that we wouldn't have previously got. But I've actually liked the fact that there is teams like West Ham are challenging him for the top 4, the top 6. It's a nice change, isn't it? You know, obviously I'd like us to be up there. I'd like us to be in the top 4 instead. But it's been nice for the season, I think, to have teams like West Ham. And there's been other teams that are doing well that you would have expected. Aston Villa have been up there as well, haven't they, this season? And, you know, there's a few teams as well. And I think it's good that, you know, it's nice when that happens, because I don't like to see the same teams all the time, the same top 4 every year. And it becomes a little bit sort of monotonous and boring. So it's nice when other teams can come in. And I'll say I've always had a bit of a soft spot for West Ham. I say my sister supported West Ham, and I used to go there quite a bit when I was younger, and you know, at school and stuff like that. I used to go to West Ham a few times when Arsenal weren't playing or Arsenal was away. I'd go to West Ham. I remember quite a few games actually standing on the North Bank at West Ham. Pretty good times actually. But that was always good. Shane has got a comment about Noble. Testimonials, you don't see him anymore. No, you don't see testimonials. I think that's probably because they earn enough money now, don't they, when they're playing than what they used to. I think back in the day, players didn't earn much, did they, in comparison? They probably deserved a nice payday on their testimonial if they'd been there. I mean, how long has he been at West Ham, Noble? He must have been more than 10 years anyway now, mustn't he?
Yeah, a long time, yeah. I can't think how many off the top of my head, but he's been there a long time. And but it would be nice to, like, you know, have a testimonial, something where you can say goodbye to the fans, and it's all them sort of matches are great. You know, I know they don't mean nothing, but it's a nice thing. He's got his family there, and the kids and everything, and bring them to the match, and it's just a nice way to go on. I think, you know, if we're not talking about money wise, just it's a nice way to go out, you know, with a good feeling for any player that's been a long time.
Yeah, maybe do it for charity or something like that. I think some players have done that, haven't they? Raise money for charity instead, and that might be a nice way to do it, maybe. And like you said, give the fans the opportunity to, you know, properly say goodbye to him if it is going to be his last season playing. But like you said, he might well stay at the club in a coaching role anyway, mightn't he? Potentially, I can't see why he wouldn't. You know, maybe coaching the kids to start with or something like that. That'd probably be a good role for him.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. Something like that would be good, because that's what I like when, you know, players that have, you know, understand the club, have played for years. They're the ones who should be coaching the kids. You know, they tend to get coaches in from all over the world, don't they? Now, a lot of clubs. I just feel as though if you've played for a club for 20 years or whatever it is of your career, then you understand the club. You know what it takes to succeed there, and surely what you could offer to the young players coming through will be invaluable. Really, I don't know why more clubs don't maybe do that anymore. They used to all the time, didn't they? I mean, I know Arsenal have got. Steve Bold is dealing with our youth team, and we had Freddie Lundberg and stuff like that. So we maybe have used sort of former players before, but you know, we've got a lot of foreign coaches at the club as well. We brought in and stuff who have no links to the club really, which, you know, they might be very good coaches, and I'm sure they are.
It's but, the same,
No,
it's the
you like to see people that's played for the club coming back, though, especially if they were good players and you know the fans liked them and stuff like that. It's nice to have them back working at the club, but not that always works out, does it? I suppose not all ex-players become good coaches, I guess, but there will be a lot that do, and they need to have the opportunity. I like to see that personally. So it'd be good if Mark Noble gets a coaching role at West Ham. You know, I'm sure there's a lot he can offer the club anyway in some capacity. You know,
but it's nice to be offered it. If they're offered it and it doesn't work out, at least they've been offered it. So it's a nice thing for them, and it's a nice gesture, you know, in a way.
It is. It kind of rewards the loyalty that he's shown the club as well over many years, you know, and stuck by him through thick and thin, relegations and stuff. He's stayed, hasn't he, and not been tempted to move anywhere else. So you've got to give him credit for that. So you know, fair play to him for that. The last section that we always do, and it's the big one, I guess, I suppose, is the most difficult thing to do.
I think this is a difficult game to call tomorrow, if I'm honest. Really, really tough. I know we've played a European game. Your home form's really good at the minute. I mean, what are you thinking about the score for tomorrow? Then? Are you confident that you might get the win?
I always like to say the opposite to what's going to happen. So I say we'll lose, but no. I've noticed, it's a lot of derbies or two big teams play against each other. It's always something like a draw. You do get a lot of draws, don't you? So
you do.
That may be what might happen. I don't know, but I don't want to say anything because I'm really got a superstition thing. It's been so bad. I've been watching matches, but I haven't watched the matches. This is really terrible from a supporter's point of view. I've actually recorded them, and then I watch them later. I just can't. It's been a superstitious thing. I've done it before. I've not watched matches and they've won. So I thought, if I keep this going, it might be me. But obviously, it's a personal thing. It can't be me, can it? But what I mean. But it's been doing right,
Well, I mean, if it's working, why change it? I guess. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the thing with me is, I've obviously there's been Arsenal games in the past that I've missed for one reason or another, and I can't kind of settle if I know the game's going on, even if I've been at work or stuff like that sometimes, and I just can't settle because I know the game's on, and it does me in. I'd rather watch it and suffer than.
I tried not looking at the phone. I mustn't look at the phone. Oh no, don't look at the phone.
Yeah, no, it's hard, I suppose. But I mean, it seems to be working this season, doesn't it? I mean, I say you're in the top six, which would be great. I mean, I think this is a really tough game for Arsenal. I've got to be honest. Your home form has been brilliant. Certainly this year since Christmas, really, you've won nearly every home game you played, and it's going to be a really tough game for us. And we didn't play very well the other night in Europa League. And I think that now, with the way the draw in the Europa League worked out for us, I think that's going to be the priority for us now. And I think maybe there'll be some rotation of the squad tomorrow. And I'm a little bit concerned that maybe the team that we put out might not be strong enough to get the result. Because I still think we can finish in the top six. If we can put together a decent run, we're not that far off. I say if we beat you tomorrow, we'll only be 4 points behind you. And, that's you can easily make up 4 points, can't you? You know what I mean? So, but it is a really, it's a tough game to call this. I mean, I think that we can win if we turn out and play well. Our away form has been quite good, actually. We've played our best games away from home probably most of the season. So, apart from obviously Tottenham last week was good. But yeah, I mean, if we turn up, I think we can win. But I'll probably take a draw if I'm totally honest. I'll probably take a draw just because it's going to.
So it's where Arteta thinks he needs to go. He's got Europe. You're looking at Europe. You're looking at that. It's your size of squad. This is where, your size of squad really makes a big, gives all the answers. You need a massive squad to carry on and work on more than one front. Your league, your foreign matches, and all that. Otherwise, it's tough, isn't it? It's tough. And obviously rotation. It's like do you put your best side out in Europe? Do you put your best side out in the league, or what do you do? It's like.
Yeah, no, it is tough, and I say just the way that the draws worked out in the Europa League. I mean, I'm sure Arteta will be looking at that as we are as fans and thinking, there's a great opportunity here for Arsenal to get to the final. The way that the draws worked out for us, and to do that though, we're going to probably have to play all our best players in the Europa League games, which means some of the league games either side might suffer and we might drop a few points. We've done it every year. When we reached the semi-final in Arsene Wenger's last year, we lost a lot of league games in the run-up to that because we were throwing everything at the Europa League. When we got to the final under Unai Emery, we dropped a lot of league points in the run-up to the games because we were rotating the squad. And I think that might happen again, unfortunately. I just don't think our squad's, like you were saying about West Ham, I don't think our squad's strong enough to be able to win in Europe and keep winning in the league as well. I don't think it's possible to do that. So I think, unfortunately, sacrifices may have to be made, and it may well be some of the league games coming up. But I personally would like us to go for everything, try and win every game.
Definitely you would, yeah.
But it doesn't work like that, does it? Unfortunately. No.
We all can't be Manchester City, can we? Have all these, this squad of a massive squad. You need a massive influx of money and keep everybody happy to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's difficult. No one's got a money Man City, have they, really? So it's easy for them. EDJ, there's again, he's got a sort of saying to you, Steve, there. Do you give Moyes the credit for this season so far? Have you been in favour of him overall?
Yeah, I was like, when he first came, I thought, oh, David Moyes, well, he's not the most spectacular name to have. And, our sort of club, we ain't going to get the most spectacular name, but he's done really well this season. You cannot complain. And plus, he's got good coaches. He's got Stuart Pearce. He's got Nolan. He's got a few good coaches behind him. And it's worked. He's obviously, it takes a while for that thing to settle into a team. So he's had longer, and he's got that continuity, got everybody to work together. And obviously the coaches are doing their job properly, and it's all pulling. So that's off to him. He's doing really well, so I'm quite happy, it's not more you can find, really,
No, exactly. I mean, I think you've probably overachieved maybe for like you said, what your expectations were back at the start of the season. I'm sure, not many West Ham fans would have expected you guys to be fifth at this point in the season and chasing. I mean, you're in the top four last week. It was only because you lost to Man United, wasn't it, last week? And that's what's knocked you out of the top four. So, I know tomorrow you're going to be wanting to get the 3 points to try to get back in the top four. And, so I know it's going to be a tough game, and I'm a bit concerned. We're coming off a poor European performance as well. So, my head probably says that West Ham will win, but my heart's saying that Arsenal will win. So it's a difficult one to call, but we'll see. I'll say I'd probably take a draw just because that wouldn't be a bad result. Probably for either team. I suppose West Ham probably need to win as well, I guess. But I think if you finish top six, you'll be happy, won't you?
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah. I think it's going to be exciting, whatever way, it's going to be an exciting match. But yeah, that's we haven't been sort of like that way for a long time. So, I'll be happy with anything like that, So yeah, But I think it'd be a good match tomorrow, As I said, it's shame the fans are not there to enjoy it. It'd been probably even better. But it'll be good anyway.
Yeah, no, it will be. Obviously, last season's game was a good game from our point of view because I know that we won. We came from behind to win 3-1, didn't we, last season's game, which was a decent performance from Arsenal. And that was at a time when I think Freddie Ljungberg was in charge. We'd sacked Unai Emery and we hadn't got Arteta. We were in a bit of a mess, and we played terrible that day. From what I remember about the game, West Ham were on top for a lot of that game. Should have been maybe 2 or 3-0 up, and then suddenly from out of nowhere we scored 3 goals in about 10 minutes, didn't we? I don't know where that happened, and that was it, and we won the game. But I'll take that tomorrow, I guess. But I'd like to see us play a bit better overall. But we won the game, I guess, and if we win tomorrow, I'll be over the moon. I've got to be honest. Even if we play worse than that and still win, that's what it's about, isn't it? But we'll see what happens. Like I said, I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be exciting, and I'm looking forward to it actually because I always like playing against West Ham, and we do generally have a decent record against you guys anyway. We've, certainly recent years we've done pretty well against it. So let's hope that'll. I think we've only lost once in the new stadium actually. And that was that Declan Rice game when he scored. Yeah. So. We've got a decent. I remember Sanchez scoring a hat trick there the other year. Do you remember that game when Alexis Sanchez scored a hat trick?
Yeah. Well just terrible. Yeah, we just all collapsed.
I just thought the quality we had in our team at that time, with Sanchez and with Ozil and everyone was sort of playing well. We were doing well then, and that was a good Arsenal team actually. Maybe underachieved a little bit, but different times now. It's not going to be 5-1 tomorrow either way, is it? I wouldn't have thought.
You have your ups, you have your downs. You just go with it, don't you? At the end of the day, so you just keep with your team, and you just keep your fingers crossed. But it happens all the time, doesn't it? The ups and the downs. So just enjoy the up times, and then when the bad times come, just think you've got more better times to come. Yeah, or you hope
exactly. Anyway. Yeah, I mean that's all you can do, isn't it? Really, I suppose. I think maybe this last year with everything, not being able to go to games and everything else that's gone on, maybe it makes you maybe appreciate things a little bit more now, maybe than you did before. I mean, I think maybe in the past I've maybe taken certain things for granted with Arsenal because we've won a few trophies and it's nice, but you maybe don't appreciate it as much because you maybe expect it to happen again and again and again because that's when you've got a good team, you just expect to have a good team forever, don't you? And then you don't have such a good team anymore, and you suddenly think, I wish we had that team again, and I wish we were that good again, and
and maybe come again, and
it's just
make it a bit more interesting. Sometimes makes it a bit more interesting in a way. I know it's not good but you know what I mean. If you're constantly winning, you go, we're going to win again. We're going to win again. It gets to the
Yeah.
stage where, with some clubs years ago, like the Man United when they were top and Liverpool's, and they kept on going, and you think, does he then get a bit monotonous? In a way, it's a good monotonous, but you know what I mean. It can be a little bit boring.
No, I agree actually, and obviously from my point of view, obviously growing up in a big West Ham area with a lot of West Ham fans, and I always used to look at West Ham because in the overall scheme of things, West Ham are a smaller club than Arsenal, aren't they? And got different expectations. And I've always known a lot of West Ham fans. I grew up with a lot of West Ham fans, like yourself and loads of others that we went to school with and stuff. And I used to, I'd go to games with Arsenal. You go to an away game or something like that, and unless you've won the game, you come back a bit disappointed because it's Arsenal and you expect to win. And I'll speak to West Ham fans, and they was just enjoying the fact that they might go to Man United and play well and see him score a goal, and they'll be over the moon. And it's like sometimes I wish I could feel like that, and not have the same expectations and pressure that you have from maybe being a bigger club that's expected to win things. And it's almost like, I know West Ham aren't a small club. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they're a big club in football terms, but you don't win Premier Leagues and you're not winning titles regularly and stuff like that. So the pressure's sort of different, isn't it? And I used to speak to a lot of West Ham fans, and I used to almost be envious of that you could go away game and just enjoy it for what it was. And we've never been able to do that much as Arsenal fans because there's always expectations on the club and the team to win. And you feel, even during a game, you can feel disappointed sometimes. But it's like, you should just enjoy it, really. You should be able to just enjoy it. And
you're taking it too serious at the end of the day, but you want to take it serious. But, when something becomes people's lives, when they get so taken in by it, they've got the ump to walk around, but you've got to take as it is and enjoy, you win, you enjoy it, if you don't, just think, you're going to win the next game maybe, or next two games coming up. Got to take it like that, really.
I've always wanted to look at it like that. And maybe, when I was a bit younger in the 80s, Arsenal wasn't that great, and it maybe was a bit more like that, but the expectations at Arsenal are still high regardless of where we are in the league, I suppose, and that maybe rubs off on him in the end. Shane's put a comment there about he's seen a clip of Henry's best goals recently. That goal against West Ham, I remember the one he meant. Do you remember that one? That was at Upton Park, wasn't it, when he smashed it in?
I was there, I remember that well.
Yeah, I was there that day. It was I think we were 2-0 down actually, and came back and that goal made 2-2, didn't it? I think Vieira scored as well. But that was a great goal actually. Much needed at the time. I think that we was in the middle of a long unbeaten run at that point as well. Actually, 30 games in the end it was, and that was towards the end of it. But I remember that as well. And EDJ there says good points on Moyes. I think the game could go either way tomorrow. He says wouldn't be surprised if we lose to West Ham as they've been very good and they're pushing for that top six. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose either. I must admit, I don't want us to, but it wouldn't surprise me. Any result tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised by any three of the results. Either Arsenal win, West Ham win, or a draw wouldn't surprise me if I'm honest. But we'll see what happens. And EDJ again says, where do you stand on the owners then, Steve, for West Ham?
I do think they need to put some more money in the club sometimes, like when, you're looking at, I think they need to go up a grade with owners, we're looking at, all right, you're looking at Manchester City and you get these Arabs, more people, more money and that type of thing. But I think at the moment, I see him being very shrewd, no disrespect. David Sullivan, if you as a player coming to the club and he's doing a deal with you, you look at him and you think, well, I don't know. It just, you know what I mean? They need to have, when they do transfers, they have too much information coming out. What are they going to get? This, that, the other, all these speculation with players. I think it needs to be, they need to sort of rein it in a bit, so there's not so much information. And also somebody, they need obviously to go up a level even more money in the club. So that's we need chairman with money really to go away. That's how you're ever going to go. And how you're going to keep up with the Manchester Cities of this world,
No, I agree. I mean, we're in a similar situation. I don't feel our owners invest enough in the team and in the club because they've got interests elsewhere in America. And I suppose, obviously your owner is a businessman at the end of the day, isn't he? And he's looking at the profits and stuff like that, isn't he? That's how he looks at it, rather than, the owners at Man City are not at Man City to make money necessarily. They're at Man City because they just wanted to buy a football club and
be successful. The same as Roman Abramovich at Chelsea. He's not, he doesn't care if Chelsea losing money. He just wants to be part of a club that's winning trophies and stuff. And that's almost the dream for fans, isn't it, to have an owner like that doesn't care how much players cost. They'll just go and buy them if they think they're going to, if the manager wants them and thinks that they can make the club win trophies. And, I would love an owner like that. I must be honest, who's just going to, buy whatever players we want. And that would be nice, I guess. Well, no, but then having said that, but then going back to your point earlier, actually, I mean, maybe Man City fans at the moment, because they're winning nearly every game, maybe they're getting a bit bored of winning every game.
That's
so
maybe
that's
the downside of it, It's a good downside, but it's a downside.
I mean, I think it's more important maybe when when you're spending money yourself to go to the games and you're travelling all over the country to watch the team, you want to see the team win. I mean, I must admit, this season when we've lost games, I've not been quite as angry or as upset as I were previously when I'd spent £200 to go to an away game and we lose 1-0 and play terrible, and you're fuming because you think I've wasted my day. Whereas at least now you're only wasting a couple of hours watching it on the telly, aren't you? So I suppose, and you're not spending any money. So I guess you've got that kind of balance with it. Maybe I certainly have. I've noticed that over the last year. I don't get the ump as much when we lose. I do, but not to the same extent, because it hasn't cost me £200 to go and do it. So I can kind of take it a little bit easier. The key to maintaining, this is EDJ again, that's the key to maintaining your position in the top six. You definitely need the owners investing enough and investing well in the correct players. Every club does, really. If you want to be successful, you've got to have a plan, haven't you? You've got to have the right people in the right positions at the club to recruitment is massively important, isn't it? I mean, Joe says he wouldn't want an owner like Man City. I want to know that cares more. Yeah, I mean, I think Man City's owner does care, actually. He seems to, because he's put his own money into the club, isn't he? Funded it himself. So I think he does care. But I understand. I mean, I'll tell you the owner I would like, someone like the owners at Leicester, what they've done at Leicester. They seem to really care about the club. They're not, they're not spending silly money, are they? They're not going out and buying 120 million players, but they're doing it sensibly, aren't they? They're buying good players at good price. They've got good scouting. They're a well-run club, Leicester, actually. And I suppose for me, that's who I'd look up to and say I'd like an owner like what Leicester have got. I don't know he had that crash and that there, but his family have taken it on, haven't they? And I'd quite like to have an owner like that. If you can find one somewhere, then that would be great. And I'm sure West Ham would be similar, wouldn't they? You could find an owner like that.
And there's a bit of respect there, isn't there? Because you can see that he's generally, got a love for the club as well, more than just pump some money in and that's it. That as well helps as well. So respectability for the chairman,
No, exactly. Exactly. And EDJ again says we would have had a better chance if Usmanov had taken over and not Kroenke. Well, exactly, we would have done. I think he's now is he now at Everton, Usmanov? I think he might be. I feel he would have spent money like Abramovich does for Chelsea. Maybe a little bit more money. I don't know if he would have. I don't think we'd have quite been the same as Chelsea, maybe, but we maybe would have spent more than we certainly have done under Kroenke's, because he's not really invested enough. Yes, he has invested some, but not enough in the club for what we need as Arsenal to move forward, I guess. And we've seen clubs like yourselves, like West Ham, overtake us now, and we're playing catch up with clubs like West Ham and Aston Villa, and even Wolves up until this season. I know they've fallen away a bit, but it's I guess it is what it is, isn't it? Really, and we've just got to try to do the best that we can with what we've got, which is what Arteta's trying to do, and it's not quite been as good as I expected we would do this season, and we're in the position that we are. But a win tomorrow will make everybody feel a lot better, apart from you, obviously, because I'm sure you'd be wanting West Ham to win. but we'll see. I'm sure it'll be a good game. Usmanov is at Everton. Yeah, I'm sure. I thought he was. Yeah, and they are doing well. Yeah, obviously they're ahead of us as well. Another team that's battling for that top four. And we're not really, but I say if we can win tomorrow, it'll definitely put us back in contention again for the top six at least, anyway, if not the top four. But we'll see what happens. Well, brilliant. I mean, thanks for coming on today. It's been absolutely brilliant chatting to you.
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah, thanks for inviting me. Yeah, it's been, a very professional show. It is great. Yeah, just hope you keep your viewers coming in and. Enjoy the show. They're all good shows that you've done that I've been watching on and off. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant! Well, thanks for the support for the channel as well. Thanks for watching
Yeah.
the shows. I mean, what I've been doing recently is after the games, I've been doing like a fan reaction show where gets fans on just to sort of 5-10 minutes to sort of just briefly talk about the game. I don't know if you're around tomorrow. If you fancy coming on for that after the game, maybe see how it's gone.
Yeah, I'll try and get on. Yeah.
How much you want to watch? You're not going to watch it live, though, are you?
I'm not going to watch it, so I can't know. So I won't know, will I?
Oh yeah, that'll be
Sorry,
be
that's my superstition thing. It's bad, I know, but see if it works. It might not. It might be a bad downside of it.
Obviously, if we win, it won't work, will it? But anyway,
No,
I suppose
obviously not. No, I'll have to forget that idea if it goes.
Yeah, well, no, we won't be able to do that, unfortunately. If you won't, obviously, you won't see the game till later, will you? So, I wouldn't want to spoil the score for you because wouldn't be able to kind of keep it a secret, really, especially if we've won.
Well, they pop up on telly sometime, yeah.
Well, yeah. It's the thing with these days. It's so hard to avoid the results, isn't it? Because if you got your phone will go off, or even if you popped on Facebook for 2 minutes, someone's put it on there to score, and you're like, oh, brilliant, I'll know it now. And whereas in the old days, I can remember coming back from going to a game, and you wouldn't know what the other scores were because there was no way of knowing. No. If you bump into another fan at a station, you'd be asking, how'd you get on today? Because you didn't know. Whereas now, all that's gone because everyone knows straight away because everyone's got it on their phone all the time, haven't they?
Well, if you get on telly, you get the newsreader going, if you want to know the result, don't look at the TV now. And then he goes and says the result. So,
yeah. They've got to remember that sometimes when you get to our age, you can't get off your chair and get out of the room that quick, can you? You know what I mean?
No.
You've got no chance.
You're done for.
Yeah, exactly. They don't give you a lot of time, though, to get out of the room. Like, hang on a minute.
No, true.
But I say usually the results, you just know them anyway. If you spend any time on social media, you just hear them, don't you? Because people will say, especially being Arsenal fans, if Arsenal have lost, literally there's a meltdown on social media within 2 minutes of the game finishing with Arsenal fans losing over the fact that we've lost a game like the other night. But we all feel a bit like that. But I say now, I don't get so annoyed anymore because I haven't spent all the money going to watch it. I've just sat here and watched it on the telly, and it's like, well, it wasn't very good, but things could be worse.
And you have Tottenham as well.
Yeah, I mean, last week it was good beating Tottenham. Yeah. And Shane in the chat there says, always say this channel will do the best game preview. Oh, well, thank you very much, Shane. I appreciate the feedback and the support that you've given. You're always in the chat, so it's really good. So thanks for that. I mean, thanks for all you guys for watching as well. Thanks, I say, to everyone who was in the chat tonight. There was quite a few people. Obviously, DJ, Shane, Joe, of course, he's generally in the chats as well. Usually Luca as well. Dave from the Out and Out Gunners podcast. Please subscribe to his channel as well. That's a good. He does some good stuff there. Melvin was in there as well. Actually, again, I've got the pictures up, so I'm not looking at the chat. I don't know who he was referring to there. We got him a bit late. Maybe Sue Care possibly. Melvin normally comes on, but he's had a bit of he's been in hospital recently, and he's just sort of recovering. So he'll be back on the show very soon. And Steve Stone as well was in there talking about Jack Wilshere earlier. So thanks to all you guys for watching. Thanks for support. So obviously, especially thanks to you, Steve, for coming on and sharing your thoughts about West Ham, which is always good to hear. I'm glad that I'm glad you're keeping well. Nice to catch up. And
nice to catch up with you too. Yeah, long time.
We'll have to stay. We'll have to stay in touch and stuff like that. And and hopefully one day when we're allowed to, maybe we can perhaps meet up again as well and stuff like that. Get a bit of a reunion going. Maybe get a few of the other guys from school as well. Could be quite good.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be great. Yeah.
But I'll say thanks for coming on. Say thanks to everyone for watching. I will be doing a watch along of the game tomorrow on the channel. I'll be going live about 2:45 for a 3 o'clock kickoff, all the team news and that kind of stuff, and then obviously a watch along of the game, and then obviously the fan reaction show at the end as well, where I'll get a few guys on to just go over their thoughts on the performance, where hopefully it'll be a good game that we can enjoy. A good performance from Arsenal would be nice. But it's going to be tough. I know it will. And if we can win, it'll make my weekend and I'll be delighted. But I'm not certainly expecting it to be easy because West Ham, as we said, are a good team. They're good at home. And I'm sure it's going to be a really, really difficult game for us. But I'll be confident until there's 2 minutes to go and we're 3-0 down, and then I give up hope then. But until then, I'll be confident. So thanks everyone for watching. Stay tuned to the channel. If you haven't done so, please subscribe as well. Click the button down in the corner, which is in that corner down there somewhere in the bottom.
please give it a like as well. Share the content around, and stay tuned for the watch along tomorrow and the fan show. Say thanks everyone for the chats in the box, and also obviously to Steve particularly for coming on. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
and of course, as always, as we move towards a big game tomorrow for the Arsenal, come on you Gunners, come on, 3 points, let's do it.